Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a bunch of custom tactics to show you guys today. This is going to be a video for those of you that didn't watch the individual custom tactic videos. I'll be leaving links down below for each individual ones that I actually ended up liking, because there are certain formations that is really nice to be able to switch to depending on the situation of the game, right? We'll be talking about the types of players that you're going to want for each individual tactic and instruction, because obviously it's going to be very important to work with. The first thing I have to mention, right, is that this is obviously from last week's gameplay. I was supposed to make this video last week. Didn't end up doing it because of all the content that we were pulling out. But obviously with this week, with content being a little bit slower, it's always the best opportunity to post these types of videos. Okay, so first thing, guys, right, is that when it comes to the balance of your team, right, I feel like it is always important to have two proper midfielders to begin with, right? So obviously in my case, I'm going for sentimental value, but also meta, because Palinga, you guys know I'm a very big fan of this year. Sure, his dribbling is rough, you know, attacking presence is not necessarily the best, but it's a card that is, first of all, the first usable Portuguese CDM we've ever had in FIFA. Like the other ones, like they've dropped a Danilo Pereira in the past. I always tell you guys this, and it just wasn't as good, right? So it's great for me this year to have two Portuguese midfielders I can use, but it's very important to mention that it's just important to have in general, right? You want to have players that are either both high, one is medium high, but both can at least attack and defend as much as possible, right? It's always very important to have, just in case you switch to a 3 midfield setup. Then you need to have a center mid, right, that is capable of playing in the center mid position. Now, to be honest with you guys, your options, there's a lot of options, because you can literally just put a super attacking oriented card playing in that left center mid area, and it wouldn't be a bad thing to work with, right? In my case, I use Bernardo Silva because Bernardo Silva can rotate from cam to that left center mid area as the more attacking oriented card, so it's perfectly fine to work with, okay? Your side players, you don't have to be as picky with them, although I will say that I do notice attacking AI feeling really nice with actual cam players playing in those positions, especially in the side area. So from in my case, you know, using Phil Foden as the left attacking mid and then Diogo Jota as the right attacking mid, it works out perfectly fine. However, I've told you guys in the past that if you were to use someone like Diaby, someone like Coleman in those side positions, it would still be perfectly fine to work with. Whether you switch to a 4-3-2-1, a 4-2-3-1, it's still perfectly fine. Like those formations, no problem, right? So the defense, I always tell you guys, at least the center backs, okay? Your center backs need to be full meta, okay? I'm going to be a rat when it comes to that. The center backs need to be full meta because of how this game plays out with the counterattack stuff, okay? You need to have full meta center backs. People have told me that Van Dijk's card is really good. This is the Road to Glory accounts. We're not on it often, right? The last time I played gameplay was for this 4-1-4-1 and then the FUTCHAMPS gameplay from last week, right? Didn't play this weekend because it wasn't like super important for the content. It was more just to prove a point when I did that rants video, right? But yeah, so the defenders, the center backs, you do want to work with full meta. Lloris, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, not really that great of a goalkeeper. He's there more for like chemistry and stuff. Goalkeepers that are nice are like players like Onana. Onana's really sick. Courtois is probably the best in the game, although he has weird moments sometimes, but he's definitely very nice to work with too. So you want to try to get like a good goalkeeper too, to not concede really bad goals, right? But yeah, you guys can see that having a left center mid that could potentially play as your cam is nice, right? That's why you see some of these pro players using Messi as a left center mid, and then if they need to switch to like a 4-2-3-1 or something in game, they switch him to the cam card, right? So it just depends, right? So some of the custom tactics that I've liked, right? This is going to be the main one. You guys know I've been using this ever since I got it. This is the Boris Legend 4-2-3-1, okay? The only thing that I have switched, depending on the players that I have, right, is that my defensive-oriented CDM... Let me just fix this real quick. Hold up. Do that. Yeah, okay. The defensive-oriented CDM is the card that's going to be on stay back while attacking, right? So I don't leave them on cover center anymore because his attacking presence is not the best. If I had two high work rated cards, it would be perfectly fine, right? So again, I will be leaving a link down below in the description, not the description, but the comment section as well as the description to show you guys each one of these tactics, right? We've made videos for each individual one of me explaining it a little bit further, right? But even still. So this 4-2-3-1, set up like this: 40 for width, 60 for depth, fast build up, direct passing, 35 for width, and then 7 for players in the box. This is the formation I used pretty much the entire time, right? There was maybe 1 or 2 games where I would switch to a different formation because it needed something different, but this formation for me is the most balanced to play with in this game. It just feels incredible to work with, right? I really, really enjoy it. My build-up play is not completely based off of counterattack through balls, right? So that's why you notice that I switched to switch Ronaldo to a controlled player, because it just works out better for me. Like, it was the same thing with me using Falcao. Like, Falcao, I preferred him on a finisher. I'm very sad that I didn't finish him on the Road to Glory account. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm very sad, but again, the motivation's not there because of the rants that we made for the gameplay game modes, right? So it's one of those things. So instructions for the 4-2-3-1: stay back while attacking for the right back. Left back is unbalanced, right? So having that extra attacking presence is very, very helpful. Your box-to-box CDM, it could be Valverde as well, right? Those types of players, only on cover center. You can also have another high work rated card there in that position too, but it has to be like a Ronaldo Sanchez Valverde kind of link, or Ronaldo Sanchez Kessier, that type of thing to make it work, right? For me, I will say that in a 4-2-3-1 formation, I always feel like I want a medium high. I do. I always feel like I want that medium high because it just creates a really, really good balance in the team when it comes to attacking and defending, right? Because even when you're building up the play with your fullbacks or your Lamb or your Ram, them cutting inside and passing it to the CDM that is on stay back while attacking, while your other CDM pushes back to help you out on the attack, it's very helpful to work with, right? Your Cam is on stay forward. Your Lamb and your Rano get into the box with the cross. Works out perfectly for these players because they have the high defensive work rate. And then we have Ronaldo on just stay central, right? So this is 100% my favorite tactic in the game. Definitely huge props to Boris Legend because I still think it's my favorite one to this day, right? Okay, so we have some other ones here. The 4-2-2 formation. This is one that a young pro player sent me. This 4-2-2 is very well balanced and it plays against the meta of the game really well. You've noticed that a lot of these tactics have the direct passing chance creation on it, because I feel like when I don't have chance creation on direct passing, I can't perform as well, right? That's why it was very impressive that when I did the Air Japes 4-3-3 video, that he had balance on it and it actually performed decently well. But direct passing always seems to be the best one when you're using it in game, right? So for this 4-2-2, 42 for width, 65 for depth, build up play on balance, direct passing, 50 for width, and then 5 for players in the box, right? So very default stuff for the offense, but it kind of makes sense because of the way that the 4-2-2 is formatted in game, right? So you could see here that for this team, right, it's not perfectly formatted for it. And you're going to see why, right? This is why I tell you guys you want to try to have players that can pretty much play in multiple positions, because I have 2 left-footed players in this formation. Having strong foot on the strong side seems to be way more ideal in the game nowadays, even if they do an outside foot shot nerf on the cards, right? So you can see that in my case over here, the only thing that I could potentially do is essentially use Bernardo Silva as like the false 9 oriented card. But as we all know, he's not really the striker type. Generally speaking, I would have probably put Diogo Jota up top in the striker position next to Cristiano Ronaldo, but obviously not having a right-footed player in the right-sided position, it's not great, right? That's why it would be really nice if they did like a promo card for Bernardo Silva or something. But yeah, it's not like the best balance. You know, I've tried, you know, in the past using someone like Phil Foden on the right side. I just don't like it personally. So, you know, we could do something like this as well, using Phil Foden as like the card next to Ronaldo, because obviously I think it'd be fine to work with. He has like good striking capabilities. He's been upgraded recently too, so could definitely be very nice to work with, right? Instructions. So both of the fullbacks are on stay back while attacking, avoiding counterattacks at all costs. Both of the CDMs, one is on stay back while attacking, and then the other one is just on balanced, right? So stay back while attacking for the CDM. The thing is that what you notice with them on cover wing, and I mentioned this in the 4-2-2 video, is that when you have your left attacking mid and your right attacking mid to just get into the box or across, but they have high defensive work rates, if they push back, your CDMs will have very good awareness to block the side positions, but then not block the side positions anymore because they notice these guys pushing back, so they go back into the middle to block the middle area. So it actually ends up working really well. It's very well balanced for how the game kind of plays out in game. And then both of your strikers are on stay central, get in behind, and stay forward. It's very ideal to do this because what you're doing is you're consistently putting pressure against the defenders, right? Because park the bus is such a prevalent tactic to use, your buildup revolves around your attackers pushing up against defenders for you to be able to attack in certain situations, right? It's something that you notice a lot in the way that this game plays. Maybe the meta would change with direct passing if EA were to eliminate park the bus in general, but it probably won't happen anytime soon, which is what makes this 4-2 so good in game. The next one is the 4-3-2-1. So this 4-3-2-1 is the formation that we reviewed from Mo Abba, right? So Mo Abba, absolutely fantastic player when it comes to FIFA. Very good play style as well. He definitely understands when to use the target lock system. I don't like target lock system because obviously if you're a pro player, you definitely should learn it. But I like to do like regular FIFA things, you know what I'm saying? Like I like to just like do very basic stuff like when I play FIFA, but there's no problem with using target lock. I have zero issue with it because it is a good way to kind of get your attacking AI moving a certain way that you actually want, because it's not AI, it's actually you controlling it. So it's a good feature to have in the game for that kind of stuff, right? It's more of a me problem to not use it. It's not really like a bad mechanic in the game. But yeah, defense is going to be set up to, it's really interesting because pro players, sometimes they'll do single numerical values and it just makes a big difference for them, right? I used to be the same thing when the tactic system used to be like different back in the day, right? But yeah, defensive style is set to balanced with 51, depth for 50. Build-up play is going to be on balance, direct passing for chance creation, 60 for width, and then players in the box is set to 6 as well. The reason why this works out so well is because by default, the formation is a very narrow one, right? So when you have players that have really good attacking AI in certain positions, they will utilize space in really good ways in multiple opportunities, right? Because they will do a combination of utilizing middle space as well as side space, which is obviously very, very helpful to work with. Instructions. So I think Mo Abba doesn't say this in the video, right? But it wouldn't be horrible for you to put stay back while attacking for your right back, because when I was using this formation in game, I did notice that area of the pitch being mostly utilized when it came to people counterattacking against me. Maybe it's because I don't have someone like Kyle Walker in that area, which would be very ideal. However, I don't know, man. In football terms, if counterattacking wasn't such a prevalent thing in FIFA, it is super nice to have fullbacks also committing on the attack and just kind of flooding the defense as much as possible, because it makes it a more attacking game, right? So both of the fullbacks can be unbalanced, but I wouldn't be against you guys putting stay back while attacking on Manafa. You can see that that's what I had set on default for him because it worked out really well for me. The center mid, that is going to be your more box-to-box, is going to be only on cover center, so it's not to say that these cards don't attack. They actually do attack from time to time. Your CDM, that's not really a CDM, it's the center mid. It is really nice to have players that can attack and defend. In his case, with Mo Abba, he was using Yaya Toure. Yaya Toure is absolutely fantastic. I've used him in a draft one time. This guy is literally, he's a midfielder and he was carrying me. Like, that's how good he was, right? But Yaya Toure has a medium work rate, and it works out perfectly fine. And that center mid position to offer attacking and defensive presence is fantastic, right? So in our case, we use Pelinga. It's a cheaper option. It's the card that's going to be your most defensive oriented card. But obviously, if you're a pro player, it's important to have cards that can attack and defend in those areas. So even if you can get someone like a Laurent Blanc, right, that cam card that can be moved into the center mid position, that would be cool too. Blanc is always a sick card to have in FIFA every single year. Your attacking oriented card, balanced, right? So you can see that you can use someone like Lionel Messi there, Phil Foden, Bernardo Silva. You know, it's really nice to have left foot on the left side because of the outside foot shot. But even if it gets nerfed, when these guys commit on the attack, like you guys probably watched in that tactic video, the way that they commit on the attack, it still revolves around them shooting with their left foot most of the times, like those power strikes across goal, right? Using the outside foot shots, right? Even inside the 18-yard box. Your left forward, your striker, your right forward, all unbalanced except for your right forward, right? Because he's going to be on comeback and defense. Now, the reason why Mo Abba has his team set up the way that he does is because when you have Diogo Jota on comeback and defense, right, what happens is that defensively, your team actually ends up lining up in a 4-4-2 formation because your Bernardo Silva is on cover wing, so he'll move to that side position. Palinha and Renato Sanchez will utilize the middle spot, and then Diogo Jota will come back in defense, which will essentially make it a 4-4-2 in game, right? You'll notice it a lot when you're actually using it. Very, very noticeable, right? And it doesn't matter what type of player you use there. In his case, he was using Mbappe, right? Pro players gonna have the top tier cards, right? But you can use multiple different cards in that area. It's just more for like attacking presence that is very helpful to work with, right? And then your striker and your left forward, obviously you want to try to get players that have proper attacking AI. I don't mind using Phil Foden on that left side, and then Ronaldo is a beast this year, regardless of whether or not you make him a lengthy or a controlled player. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I do have a custom tactic for constant pressure. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I didn't use this tactic a single time, and I swear this on my family's grave, I did not touch this one time, right? This only exists if I have to face someone and they are very clearly wasting time against me, right? Which unfortunately, you kind of have to play FIFA in a way where you don't concede the first goal, right? Because when you concede the first goal, people turn into rats right away. They will not play the game normally for the rest of it a lot of the times, right? So that's where it's really nice to use a tactic like this. Sometimes, you know, we still face those types of people, but I still kind of keep a balance of using like a 4-2-3-1 mostly, so that I don't give them easy opportunities, right? But it is a tactic to have in game. You can see the team wasn't even formatted correctly. It is a new team, so I was just kind of like changing a bunch of things here and there. Bernardo Silva, we probably use over here, and then Phil Foden up top with like Ronaldo, and then Diogo Jota here, and just do something like that. Yeah, Bernardo Silva in the cam spot would be nice actually, and then we switch that there. Yeah, I'd probably do something like that. And then Diogo Jota probably there. Yeah, that'd probably be working out nicely. But yeah, this tactic literally exists for just getting the ball back, right? Everything's balanced. I don't touch anything. It's just to get the ball back as much as possible, right? It's a good formation to have, because even when you're building up the play through the middle, it's always nice to have the cam and the two strikers, right? So yeah, those are the custom tactics I use. Like I said, I mostly use the 4-2-3-1. There was maybe like 1 or 2 goals where I actually switched, but in this generalized custom tactic video, I wanted to show you guys the ones that I enjoyed the most, right? There are some other ones that we have also used. Like there's some 4-3-3 formations from the pro player, as well as Air Japes, that I liked a lot. We recently did the review for Japes' 4-1-4-1. It does feel vulnerable in defense. It's very hard to make that formation feel better in game, because there's just certain things that feel like it's missing when you're using, when you're thinking about like kind of how the meta works in FIFA. But it's still a very good formation to use in tactic if you are trying to use something different and trying to score a different variety of goals, right? Because it stretches out the play quite significantly, right? But I just wanted to show you guys the ones that I personally enjoyed the most when playing this game. So yeah, we'll leave it there, guys. I think in the future, people have been sending me Stokes' 4-1-2-1-2 a lot, that he recently got 20-0 with. And 4-1-2-1-2 hasn't been a formation I've used recently. It was a good formation to use in the beginning of the year to kind of get used to the game, but I haven't used it recently. So we're going to be trying that out probably at some point today or tomorrow or some other day. We'll see whenever we have the time to. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this video today. I'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.